Here.
Take two. Take two. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ATL on Fire, the podcast where we talk all things Atlanta United football and all things soccer. And as always, I'm joined by Dave Katz and Carmen Butler. For round two here, we had a little technical difficulty. The Colonel, thank you for letting us know we weren't live there. We are hopefully live now.
We're beholden to our fans.
Yes, thank you.
Carmen, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Yes. Back from a workout. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, as I was saying before, what soccer gossip is out there? Is anybody getting married or Miles Robinson?
I know. Who'd you find out was getting married?
Yeah. Instagram, I think our old friend Marcelina Moreno.
Congratulations, Marcelino.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
He was a better player than people give him credit for.
For sure.
That's true. And
bobblehead, but still a great player.
Very true. Yeah. The only Instagram story I have, which is not an Instagram story, is Arujo's wife is still hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Still
Miss
hot.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Miss Brazil.
She's still Miss Brazil
Still
in
smoking
Brazil.
hot. Still smoking
Well, that
hot.
makes sense, right? Because you put Miss Brazil back in Brazil and she should get hotter.
She was ready. She was ready for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dave, you brought us a lovely wine. Thank you.
That's correct.
An
It's an
Alamos.
Alamos. Yeah, it's a Cabernet. Typically, usually they're Malbec, but this is the Cabernet. It's Argentinian. What do you think?
I think we're going through it pretty quick with all these restarts.
I know.
Carmen,
Oh,
you
my
didn't know,
God.
like, yeah, you're going to get your money's worth here. Get in the wine with this many restarts.
I am telling you.
If you restart again, I'm gonna have my 6th glass of wine, and then that'll be it.
I forgot to plug in the LAN wire, which gives better.
Turns out you
Connectivity.
need internet for the
Yeah.
broadcast.
I know. Colonel, if you're out there, let us know that you can hear us.
That would be nice.
Yes, just so
Cool.
we know. 'Cause at
So,
this point,
yeah, and speaking of wine, we've got some thanks to our sponsor, Wolf Mountain Vineyard, located in Dahlonega, Georgia. So just a short drive out of the Atlanta metropolitan area to get up to Dahlonega and enjoy some lovely wines that are made in our state of Georgia.
yeah.
We went
Mine
up there,
looks just like the picture.
had a great time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Their
if
wines are terrific.
If you want to test the waters first, then drive on over to our other sponsor, Wild Heaven Brewery, 2 locations, one here in Avondale Estates and in West End, Atlanta. And look at this. I mean, look
You
at
have
the
something
photo
to-
here on YouTube.
Ah.
You just
Yeah,
or
I
the
know.
GIF, whatever
You
you,
have
want to call it.
something to tell the fan base about Wild Heaven Brewery, Mikey Dobbs.
I do. So I was just coordinating with Hayden, the manager at the Avondale Estates location. They're going to be kind enough to, again, host us for our 100th podcast. Dave, can you believe we've been doing it?
100.
100. This
That
is
can't be true.
99. 100 will be next. So we're going to do
Wow.
that, everybody, on Saturday, April 27th. We're going to target going live around noon. So please come up there, join us, celebrate with a pint or a glass of wine. I can't believe we've been doing it this long. Come heckle us. Come join the show.
And we'll have a microphone so you can come up
Yeah.
and be part of the show.
100%.
Absolutely.
So that's April 27th, Saturday at noon at Wild Heaven Brewery, Avondale Estates.
Thanks, Dave.
all right.
So, hopefully the weather will cooperate. We can do it outside. If not, we'll be undercover and figure it out.
Run for the cover.
Yes. And afterward, evidently, there's some bands playing.
Yeah,
so
there'll be music afterwards, and
Chicago later on.
Atlanta United on the telly at 8 o'clock
Yes.
or 8:30. 8:30.
I'm hoping I'm going to be able to
So
stick
triple
around.
header
But that could be a long
podcast,
long day at the
music.
brewery, so
Hey,
I don't
know.
know.
We'll wheel you home.
Right. So we've got the Philadelphia Union game to obviously talk about.
Mhm.
We played them on Sunday. Had what you would call a disappointing draw after a 2-0 lead.
Well, let's see. Think about it. So, were you disappointed by the draw, Carmen?
Well, I predicted
You
the
predicted it.
draw. Yeah.
And it's the first time that all year I've been wrong. I
And-
predicted a win.
Okay. And it's the first time all year I've been right. So there we go. Yeah. So I didn't really watch the game per se.
But what about the result? Like, is that okay
mean,
for you?
I thought it was okay. Without watching it, I thought it was okay. I mean, Philadelphia is, close up there, top of the standings, and to pull off a draw, I thought was good. I like you said, I think y'all talk about it. Andre Blake, him coming out probably helped us, but I think it's a good result.
So 2 things. I'm very disappointed.
Okay. You
Not
predicted a draw too.
Yeah, but not on the whole. Well, first of all, I also predicted a draw thinking Yakamakis would be
GG.
there.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
there's
Fair.
point number one. Also, I predicted maybe Blake would be there the whole game. We didn't know. So we got half of that right. So either way, but Gigi wasn't there. The thing I'm most disappointed about is we were up 2-0, even against the odds,
That's
because
true.
we maybe didn't necessarily deserve to be up 2-0 in that game, and we were.
Oh,
So
I don't
to
know about
me,
that.
now I just watched this game last night because I was celebrating birthdays here at the household during the actual game, but went back, watched it last night. And yeah, I felt like, that late in the game, we didn't make the right changes to hold a lead. We'll talk about that. But I think there's things we could have done to safeguard the lead versus other changes we made. Dave, you feel like you're nodding because you might agree with me on that one. So I think you might agree that we should have done better than a draw based on that.
Thunder.
Oh, I love it when y'all
Yeah.
agree.
I don't like it when we agree. And one thing we didn't agree with is the throw in, and we'll get to that. But
I'm gonna show Carmen,
Okay.
and then so that way she'll know whether or not this is legit before you ever even show it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening.
yeah, this
Keep
is
going, Mike Adams.
okay. So I do.
We'll see. You tell the audience later whether or not Mikey Dobbs and I are on the same
Okay.
page.
All righty.
So I want to talk about some big changes that are happening in Major League Soccer. And Dave,
Do tell.
as you noted, you're not a fan of any sort of rule changes during regular season.
No,
right?
I think that you can't have changes during the middle of the season because then, two teams playing the same team, Columbus played us earlier, Cincinnati played us later. If the rule change makes a difference, then it's not the same competition.
So another kind of MLS type of decision that you
MLS,
question.
shake your head.
Shake your head.
What?
Jeez.
So there's three big changes coming,
Okay.
Carmen and Dave, and that is
All right.
off-field treatment rule, time substitution rule, and in-stadium VAR announcements to take effect April 20th. So that's happening this coming weekend, correct?
Today's the 16th, so that's this
Yeah.
weekend. Yes.
Mhm.
That's this Saturday. It'll be in effect during the Cincinnati game at the Benz. So a little more detail you guys want on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Do tell.
Please.
So off-field treatment rule. So the off-field treatment rule allows for medical professionals with time to assess and treat players off the field of play in less pressurized environment. So if a player with a suspected injury remains on the ground for more than 15 seconds, the referee will stop play and wave the medical crew onto the field to evaluate the player. When safe, the player will be removed from the field and remain off the field for a minimum of 2 minutes for further assessment.
I love how they couch that in terms of the player safety when really that's to stop people from faking,
Exactly.
right?
So
That's this.
So what do you like? This one is
Ready? The blue card, the
Yeah.
dreaded. You've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Isn't that the point of that? It's like
It's kind of a blue card, yeah.
wasting time. Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious how this will impact like kind of the in between type of things where you're kind of hurt, right?
Yep.
Do you and maybe it would have been 30 seconds for you to be able to shake it off? Is it safe for the player to try to maybe hurry that up? Because the medical staff's like, and he's like, I don't want to, jeopardize the team for 2 minutes. I think that's the conundrum that might happen for those kind of weird.
I'm gonna
Weird
predict it
in-between
doesn't
moments.
change anything.
You don't think so?
Yeah, they're just gonna go about the same thing. I don't think 2 minutes is enough of a deterrent.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
I
because 2
thought it
minutes
was-
is not that big a deal.
I thought it was a big
Mostly
deal.
by the time you're off and they wave you on, it's 30 seconds anyway. And it
Yeah.
depends when they really start the clock. I mean, come on.
I don't know. I think those 2 minutes will add up, man.
We'll see.
So as a player, I mean, y'all both played. If you knew that you would be off the field for 2 minutes, a full 2 minutes, you don't think that would change your thought? Like you're not going to fake it.
I
anymore,
never
right?
went down ever, Carmen.
Correct. Which is
So
no. I think
talk to Mikey Dobbs.
No,
No,
I mean-
something that has nothing to do with me.
I think the players are going to have a tougher mentality to try to stay on, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is of the whatever percent of people who do that, right? That maybe tore their ACL and
Uh-huh.
like, I'm not going off and then do further damage. Do you think that there's any, I'm just asking. Like
Devil's advocate, right?
I'm being devil's advocate
Nah, because that could happen. I mean, yeah, you could, but I think that's
because I agree the
could
players
happen
are gonna
anyway.
the players are gonna try to stay in the field no matter what.
hmm
Um,
So you can
No,
get
I think that the players are just going to go down just like normal,
and
they're going to
take the
come
2
off.
minutes.
Yeah, they're going to take the 2 minutes. It's not going to deter anything.
but not to like
Oh, I'm
mean-
gonna yell at my teammate if he's off the field for 2 minutes for being a wuss. I'm sorry, that will change. My attitude as a captain.
Fair.
You don't think
Ooh,
so?
I like it.
You're like Roy Keane.
Yeah, if I'm Keeney, dude, and you're jeopardizing a minute and a half,
Or
right?
Roy Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think that'll have an impact with the
Nope.
captain?
Well, I mean, the captain, maybe. Yeah,
Hmm.
if you have the right leadership.
You
on
think
the team, then
Sleece
yeah.
and Gregerson are going to put up with that? Guzan at the halftime?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know enough about their personality.
I mean-
Sleaze and Gregerson are, I think, definitely leaders, but I don't know exactly what kind of leaders they are yet because we don't know about their personality.
Okay.
But
Um,
like at the end of games is kind of what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's where you have especially the South American players who
Yeah.
will go down, act like they've been shot, bring
Yeah.
on people to but
Yep.
at the end of a game when they're
Well,
pushing everyone forward, do you want to
stretching, I have a cramp.
Exactly. Do you
Well,
want to be a man down with
that-
everyone pushing
that-
like that?
To me, that's the only legitimate ones that do happen at the end of the game when players get cramps. Dave, and I know he's true. Like when you have a cramp, like I mean, your whole body seizes up. I don't know,
Yeah.
like these
Yeah, but that happened to me like twice in my whole career. Some of these guys have cramps like every week,
that
and they're professionals. I was like
dude,
an idiot.
no, that happened to me all the time, and I was
Really?
in the best shape of my life.
Oh,
Really? Okay.
Yes.
You're obviously physiologically inferior.
True. I love, but I probably had more beers than you the night before playing.
That could,
probably-
there could
probably
be a
more
correlation.
pint. No.
Could be a correlation.
I always took care of myself when I was
Now,
playing
keep
for
in
real.
mind, correlation is not causation.
So, the second rule I think is a little more straightforward and I like. Let me pull up the phone here. So this is the timed substitution rule, maximizing effective match time. The time substitution rule requires that a substituted player exit the field within 10 seconds. Failure to exit from any point
Whoa.
on the field
Will
within 10
result in
seconds
what?
will cause the incoming player to wait only 60 seconds on the hold.
Well, that's even worse because I would go slow on purpose. So this is even worse. So, you're trying to delay the game, which is why you would walk off slowly to get a substitution. So
Mhm.
you walk off really slow, and the referee's like, now you're 60 seconds. So you finish walking off slow. They start the play, and then 60 seconds later, there's another disruption.
Yeah. Huh.
Like, that's worse. I don't think they got it right.
You think there'll be they'll just wave the player on.
Oh, it won't be a stoppage for it. Okay, maybe. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, I think
'Cause they've already cleared.
I
the
could be
substitution.
wrong, but
No, that makes
I'm
more sense.
picturing they just wave them on after
Okay,
6
that makes
seconds.
more
There's no
sense. You
additional.
just-
Yeah.
So is this going to be like the 6-second rule that we used to have, like keepers holding the ball,
Yeah.
but we know they
Okay.
hold it for like
Yeah,
a
nobody
minute. No one
cares.
cares. Is it going to be
So-
like that?
If you're a time wasting team, you're talking about 2 minutes doesn't matter, a minute doesn't matter. But let's say that like 3 or 4 of those happen in a game. You're talking about 5 minutes of a one-man advantage.
I'm gonna play my Mikey Dobbs card here. I think the rules suck. I
Okay.
mean, like, I like the idea of eliminating the time wasting, but that's not gonna do it. I'm gonna predict.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Because are we still with the what do you call it? Second string refs? Are we
No,
we have
no,
the real
this,
ones.
This weekend was the reintroduction
Oh,
of
was
the
it?
real refs.
All right. Okay.
We're
Then-
back.
All right. So I feel a little bit better because I could see like the second string folks being
You're
like,
oh.
10 seconds exactly. We're going to do
Yeah.
all this. So hopefully it
It'd
may
be
work
cool
out.
if as he's walking across, the ref was like,
Right. The countdown clock.
So finally,
See, if you can't, you're not on there listening on the podcast. I was just in my fingers to count down.
So finally, the third rule is in stadium VAR announcements. VAR decisions will be explained
That
and
I
announced
love. I
by the
love.
referee,
Thank God.
by the referee to the fans in the stadium. So
that makes total sense.
it'll be like the NFL where they do.
makes
You know,
sense.
the,
And I also, we didn't really talk about it, but this year, for the first time, they're allowing the stadium clock to go past 45 and 90, and it
Yes.
keeps counting, which is so much better. It was so stupid before.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, like that.
okay, a little more transparency. I like it.
Like the last rule, don't think the time wasting rules are going to help.
Wait, I mean,
I'm on record.
so, but they,
Mikey Dobbs thinks they will.
I think they could.
You're usually the most cynical bastard out there.
I mean, I don't have a full opinion until I see it happen,
Well, yeah,
and then I
so-
could be totally
but
against
you're supposed to
it.
make a prediction so you'll look silly.
Okay, well then I think it's gonna work because I think that those minutes
All
will
right.
add up. I
All
think
right. Okay, that's a bet.
that's a bet.
Okay,
Now, how do we
I like
decide
it.
that though? Who?
If
Carmen gets to decide.
I'll decide.
I'll
She's-
also decide because I'll call myself out if it
That's
sucks.
accurate.
Listen,
That's accurate.
I'll be honest. Like if it's something I don't
That's
like,
true.
I'll call myself.
Is it
out.
time to tell the story again about how Mikey Dobbs got sent off for arguing a penalty kick that we received, our team received,
I love it
and
so much.
kept arguing with the ref to the point where the referee sent him off.
I love
He's
it.
like,
bad
"That's your
call is a
penalty
bad
kick." You know,
I was trying. I mean, when you make so many bad decisions in a row,
in my opinion, that was my greatest moment of my soccer playing career.
It's
I'm
pretty
like,
fantastic.
I just watched it the whole thing. I'm like, did he just get sent off for arguing that we got a penalty? And then yes, he did.
it was proof. It was proof about how bad he was.
It was
And
proof
I
of
wanted
your
him,
honesty.
and I wanted him to go home to know that he should probably not referee anymore because he gave me a penalty kick for no darn reason.
I like it.
For the same reasons he had made like 5 bad calls before that. So
I love it. The integrity of it all.
this integrity of the game I care about. So
Yeah.
you know I'm going to come back
Yeah.
and tell you the honest opinion.
All right.
So what was your honest opinion about our draw against the Philadelphia Union on Sunday night
yeah,
at home?
I had us
you were
winning.
you were at the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Sunday afternoon. I had us winning. Of course, when we made the predictions, we thought Gigi was going to play. So that's my, I don't want to make excuses though. So I'll take this. The first one that I've not called correctly all season. But so I was arguing that we are Formula Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly without Gigi, we're not really Formula Plus. But
Carmen, you said draw, right?
I said draw. Yep.
I said draw. Is
so
that
That's
Carmen,
what
you
we're saying,
feel
yeah.
okay with the draw
Yes, I do.
against Philly because they're a good
'Cause
enough
they're-
team? You're like, that's a good
They're
result.
a good enough team. They're, above us
Mhm.
in the standings. I was still Formula, not Formula Plus quite yet.
Okay.
So I thought the draw was all right.
so? As you know, I probably thought a draw was all right going into that
Right,
game for
yeah.
the same reasons that Carmen pointed out. But at the end of the day, I didn't think that Philadelphia played that great. We were down Yakimakis, and my prediction included having Yakimakis.
Right.
Yet we still went up 2-0, and I believe we had the 2-0 lead up until like the 65th or 70th minute. So it wasn't the equalizer or the second or third goal and first goal of the Union wasn't till very late. And I just feel like 2-0. You're missing Gigi, so just keeping the gas on as your tactics at home. I know we have that capability, but without Gigi, I don't know that that's the right tactics. So
I just showed Carmen something in secret because as
Okay.
we'll talk about it, I'm going to see if you agree. I have something about this in my notes. I
Okay.
just wanted to be forthcoming.
tell me.
No, when we get to
No,
it,
no, no.
you'll
We'll get to it,
find
okay.
out whether
All
or
right.
not we agree or not.
so you thought that a draw was a good result even after the game?
No,
Okay,
I actually, to be honest, I thought a draw,
because you
That's a
predicted
result-
a win.
a result when we're going to look back in the season and say,
100%.
not great because, keep in mind, we have a bunch of people who are going to be missing
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while this summer. Almada, Sleaze, right? I mean, those are huge pieces,
Yeah.
right? And that's going to cost us points or whatever. And
The
so,
two- they're the
so a
two-
2-2 draw against Philadelphia is not the worst. It's a decent result, but the way you were up 2-0 and then you can see 2 goals, I think that's 2 points left on the left off the
Yeah.
table, right?
And I mean, at this point, I mean, even that, like, I mean, we've got to show that we can win on the road. Even we've got to show that we can win on the road with our
But
best,
we can't.
with our best players out there.
Yeah.
We've never won on the road with Pineda, like never.
It just doesn't happen.
No, not yet.
So-
Not even with this team yet.
And so that's why I'm disappointed, Dave. I think, again, watching the game on replay last night, my memory serves, and sorry if I'm jumping right into this, but the substitutions happened late. We took Wolf out for Mascara, I believe. Is that right?
Yep.
And we took out
Rios.
who?
Rios.
Rios,
Yep.
and we put in Firmino.
Correct.
And I want to say that Fortune came in at some point. Am I wrong on that?
Wrong.
Oh, okay.
I believe we only made those 2 subs, period.
Okay. That is what it shows online. Correct.
Okay.
Which for some reason I thought Fortune, it was Firmino that made that bad back pass that went to the far side of the field where they got their first goal.
No, it's Mascara.
Was it Mascara? Okay. Ooh, that was ugly. Man.
All right. So
Not good.
since we're just jumping to it.
Yeah.
So what do you think you would have done differently? Knowing that I've already told Carmen what I would have done differently.
So
I love the setup.
yeah, I think I think the first thing I would have done is maybe given Moyamba a break,
Okay.
and put in someone more defensive like Dax.
Okay.
Sure up that kind of defensive center midfield. That's kind of number one, and I think that Mascara isn't bad because he brings in wheels and keeps at least the back people on their heels. So I didn't like that. I thought Firmino wasn't necessarily needed, but I like how they put him up front for Rios. At least it showed some creativity from Pineda, like we've been saying. You know, he's not a natural 9, but he went ahead and played him that way.
Oh, I think Firmino's a 9. No.
Now they play him as a 10 in the 2s. So
Okay.
it's not his natural position.
All right.
So I was giving Pineda
Okay.
a little bit of credit when
All
I
right.
saw him come on as a 9,
right.
saying, okay, well, again, there's not anybody else anyway. You would have to put somebody in. So maybe I'm giving him too much credit because he had to take Rios off because he saw he was tired.
Yeah, I think he was Rios was probably
yeah.
on sort of the dreaded restricted minutes because he's, just as his first game with the team or whatever, and that was all planned or whatever. So
yeah, I think taking Wolf off was the right move for Mascara. Dax should have come in for Moyamba because at that point, so this should have all happened, in my opinion, after we were up 2-0. You're like, okay, Philadelphia is a good offensive team. They're probably going to get one against us. Like that's not too hard to foresee. So let's make sure that we do what we must do, which is stop leaky goals. And the one we gave up was from a young player that he subbed on Firmino, who after,
I think it was Mascara.
Oh, he's Mascara. Sorry. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, the way that happened too is I also, the other sub, I know what it was. The other sub that I wanted to do was after Wiley scored the second goal.
Yep.
Wiley comes off and Ronald Hernandez comes in for Wiley. Okay. That was my other sub.
Okay.
Because also Wiley, while the goal wasn't his fault, obviously it was from Mascara or whomever who he kind of was getting tired. He tried to dribble it up the left side. He got it taken off his foot and it stayed in bounds.
Yep.
And that's when Mascara or whomever tried the crazy back pass cross that went to their striker and said, thank you very much. Top left. It's those little things, but it's not that hard to see when people lose their legs. Like I'm guessing that Wiley probably wouldn't have lost that had he had better legs in that game. And it's totally not his fault, but it's all about the tactics of had Ronald Hernandez been in with fresh legs at the back left. I mean, also Wiley's played all the minutes too. Why not give the guy a break? Bring in Ronald Hernandez. Like, let's do some rotations, but we're up 2-0. Like, that's the moment to do it. And that's where Pineda is not making. And also, you're giving Ronald Hernandez, who we haven't seen in a while now, again, some minutes, some confidence in a game where, we need the 2 points. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What do you think?
So I almost completely agree with you, but not exactly. So I would have said, so first of all, you're up 2-0. It's the 70th minute, right? I would have probably made the sub, but even if he didn't have the acuity to make the sub that I'm about to talk about, then I would have said, certainly after you give up a goal. So you could say that when we gave up the first goal, we were totally dominant. We were in control. We hadn't given up many chances. And so you're like, okay, let's just keep our foot on the gas and go for goal 3, right? But once you give up the 2-1 goal, I would have brought on Dax McCarty for one of the front 3, and it would have been Wolf for me.
Okay.
And I would have played with 3 defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
Right. And really block up the middle. So you still have the threat, because I probably also would have shortly then after brought on Mascara for Saba, because once you're parking the bus a little, that speed out wide can really help you get out. But so I agree with bringing off Wolf. I thought Wolf was absolutely horrendous in this game. I mean, he was
Oh, yeah,
terrible. He
really?
kept giving the ball away. He did nothing offensively. I mean, didn't have his classic movement.
Shambolic.
Every time
I
he
know.
starts, he looks terrible.
Yeah, he really has gone backwards.
I looked to
The
me
last-
like he had been out all night, like partying or something, and like,
So it was bad.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
not good.
It was not good. I didn't understand who the player was.
Yeah, and hopefully that's just an aberration, a blip on the map, and he goes back. But there seems to be, in my opinion, and it's not a lot of a lot of numbers, but every time he starts, not so good. When he comes off the bench, he's terrific.
Right. And there's a lot of people, the same with Mascara. Like, Mascara is definitely an off the bench player, at least at this point. I don't know that he'll ever be a starter per se. But yeah, I think we could have definitely won that game with some smarter subs at
Mascara looks to me like he could be a starter. I mean, he has really turned. Now, granted, he gave a horrible ball away. And he was responsible for the second goal too. But those are defensive things. Those are defensive things. Offensively, he has really, really his final product, which we used to say, like, look, he always gets by the guy, and then his final product is terrible, so it's not worth anything. Yeah. And he went away, came back, and suddenly his final product is totally different.
I do want to give Wolf a little bit more, because that's what Mascara does. He's got no defensive qualities. Like, Wolf at least has some defensive qualities.
Yeah.
And last night, if you're going to give him any credit, it was more on the defensive side of the ball.
Sure.
Offensively, atrocious.
But when you're talking about the defense of one of your front three, that's no bueno.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, of course, you want them to play defense, but that's not what you're should be really talking about. So I would have, again, to me, to be fair, if you go back and listen to the podcast, the earlier episodes this season, I have said Dax McCarty is the perfect guy to bring on when you have a 1-goal lead somewhat late in the game. You want to hold on to it because he's good defensively. He's really good on the ball. He maintains possession. But why can't he come? First of all, he didn't come on. But why couldn't he come on with the other two midfielders? Why can't we play 3 defensive midfielders when we're trying to kill off the game? Why not?
Good point.
Especially considering our back two in the game was Noah Cobb and Abram.
Well, especially when, like, you didn't need to bring Firmino on, right? So to your point,
Firmino has looked like nothing. So, he's done nothing.
So you bring Wolf off and you bring Dax.
I know people are
Dax
raving
on,
about him on the twos, but when he has played in MLS games, he has looked, in my opinion, nothing. His movement's not great. He's not really finishing anything in the box. It's not even like you could say, all right, he's young. Is he not finishing when he gets to this level? He's not even getting close to getting shots.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, to your point, you bring Wolf off, you bring Mascara on, you bring Rios off, you bring Dax on, and you move Almada up to the 9.
Sure.
I mean,
absolutely. That's a great move. Any one of the front 3 could have come off, in my opinion, and Rios, maybe that was the minutes.
In fact, like at that point in the game, you're giving Almada a little bit more of like a freebie, like take a break,
and
like
this
get
is
creative.
The thing we keep talking about. Like he always insists on a prototypical, more of a striker, and Almada will not do it. But why not play 3 defensive midfielders at that moment? Let Almada be the thorn in your side.
Yeah. And again, after watching the game last night, was Almada. That's what I love about Almada. He doesn't go over his skis. He controls what is within reason in a soccer game for any one player. And so while he didn't have a dynamite game with all the fireworks, like every beautiful pass it had, and he had some bad passes and everything, but there's so much creativity that came from his touch on taking it, moving it quickly, and distributing it. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, though, Dave.
Yeah, I think it was great. Should we finish getting all the negativity out? I have negativity on one more.
Okay, get it out.
The negativity on one more is Abram. He did okay, made some interceptions, particularly early, but every time he won the ball, he just freaking launched it. I mean, he looked like, high school kickball.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. And then again, as particularly as the game wore on, as they would be attacking their occasional counterattacks, he's just backing up, keeping people onside, and not challenging to win a ball.
Yeah.
You're like, stop being so afraid and go make a freaking play.
I had more critique on his headband.
Nah.
Not a big fan of the hair with the headband there. It needs to- go ahead and go high and tight there, Brom.
Okay. Now, lest we think. I have a lot of positives to talk about. People.
Yay! Very
Hit us.
exciting.
Top
Let's
3 positives.
Go.
Okay, so positive. Rios, his first game.
Yes.
Movement looks good,
Okay.
right? Holding up the ball looks good. I mean, compared to Firmino, he looks like super upgrade,
Okay.
in my opinion. I mean, obviously it's early. We haven't seen a lot of minutes of him.
He's our third.
To be our third, or him and Tiare competing for our second. Both of those guys, Tiare and Rios, look like occasionally, give you the flexibility. They could start with Gigi. I know that Pineda will never do it, but they could.
Yeah.
Okay.
He could have a moments. They look to me like good players.
Yeah. I mean, certainly an upgrade over Miguel Berry.
I was about to say, are we saying they're better than Miguel Berry? Is that a affirmative?
I just looked at Miguel Berry's LA stats.
Did you check it?
Oh my gosh, he's killing it.
Oh,
No, he's not.
I was about to-
Does he have a shot on
He's
goal?
got 8 matches,
Okay.
0 goals, and 0 assists.
Oh,
So he's played in 8 matches.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Still Miguel Berry.
that's a striker.
Yeah.
I know I'm overconfident at 49.
No, you're not.
Turning 49 this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like the minutes, I could at least get one of those columns with a number.
Something.
Something.
Right?
No, I'm just a number in one of those columns.
Something.
An assist? Dave, I mean, what? I don't know. Would you bet on me to be able to get an assist at least? If you gave me that many minutes up front, in
You'd
the
at
MLS,
least be offside.
At least be offside. Thank you. I would at least be offside.
And you'd make a run,
Yeah.
and the run would take you offside.
And
But-
I'd have a heart attack. It'd be awesome.
You'd blow a hamstring, have a heart attack.
Yes,
but,
all the above.
But
At least exciting.
Miguel Berry wouldn't even have that because he doesn't run.
And I cannot believe the LA Galaxy signed that guy for 2 years. What are people seeing in that guy? All right, enough. We're on with too much of our time.
Well, can y'all remind me, where did Rios come from? When did we get him and where from?
He's played in the MLS.
Came from
before.
Mexico, but he's been in MLS for
A while.
a number of years.
Okay.
He's actually a decent scorer in
Yeah.
history in MLS. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, he had like
And he's not
8
young.
or 10 goals in MLS.
Yeah, but he's not super old either. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess he's 31, maybe something like that. But he's
Okay.
not super over the hill or anything.
All right.
Maybe he's even 30. I don't know, but he's not.
So, Dave, what parts of the game stood out that you want to talk about?
Well, I'll talk about that, but I want to say another positive thing. A player who I have not been that positive about, who I was quite positive about, which was Noah Cobb.
Okay.
I thought Noah Cobb, for the first time to me, looked like maybe he can read the game.
The last couple games, like I said in the
And to be fair, when I was criticizing him earlier, I said every single time
True.
he's young.
He's
Who
young.
knows? We don't
Who
know
knows?
yet.
Yes.
So it
I had
takes
the
time
sa-
to settle.
I had the same observation about Cobb in my head. Thanks for bringing that up. I 100% agree. Some good signals, right?
And he's directing traffic. There was a couple of times in the box before the
Oh,
ball was
yeah.
served where he's like, I got here, you get there, whatever. And it was marked up. There was a play that Lennon
He also
made him
saved a goal with
Yes.
a beautiful tackle.
a beautiful tackle. And he saved a goal because Lennon was the one who made a good tackle and saved a goal. But right before that play, Lennon was like, clueless land, and he was like, I got him, you get him, and then Lennon made the play. But it was only because Cobb was directing him. So for that young to be directing other
Right.
players, bueno, really
Yeah.
good.
That's great.
So now he did make a mistake, but
What other positives you got? Is that your
maybe you
list?
can find this in the highlights in the 29th minute. Is where he makes the mistake. And I want to point this out, not so much because of his mistake, because anybody can make the mistake. We now have the ability to look not just at the highlights.
Oh goodness.
So maybe you can start it playing and see it's right in our own goal. Yeah, right in our own box, somewhere around then.
Around here.
Yeah, so you can start it playing while we talk about it.
Yeah.
So one of the things I will say is that in this game, the super important thing, here it is right there. Okay, so go back like 10 seconds. Just click the
10-second rewind.
Here,
in the
I'll
middle.
take it now.
Oh, ooh, you got you.
All
Wait,
right.
Wait. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Continue now.
Okay, so one of the things that I want to say, and this is just another example of this, and I can show you like 14 examples in this game. Sleaze, absolute masterclass in this game. I mean, masterclass. He was brilliant. I mean,
Ooh.
brilliant. One of the best defensive midfield displays I've seen in a long, long time. People don't notice it, but the number of intercepts, like in the first 3 minutes, we gave the ball away twice in our own back third. Just horrible giveaways that would have led to goals last year. And Steve is like, I got it. Just cover right in for him.
Not only is he masterclass on stepping up and winning it, and I think you got to let this run a little bit to catch up to the 29th minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing I noticed with Sleece is I'm also sometimes getting confused on TV because I've got bad eyesight, whether it's Sleece or Almada sometimes. Because Sleece really tries, he's got some classy forward balls as well and tries.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the very end of the game. I'll show you an example.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the right touch like Almada does, but
no, he's not Almada.
He's not Almada, but he really does a nice job of putting a nice curl on the ball and putting it on somebody's foot on the front foot. So
there it is.
very, very impressed. All right, so here we go,
Wait.
Dave.
Yep.
Oh no,
I just gotta
Carmen,
get you there. Keep talking.
we're switching.
There we go.
Switching.
And you're on.
Yeah, go to the
Okay.
tab.
Put us as the tab as well.
Yep.
Here.
No,
The other one. There you go.
there we go.
All right. Okay, so here's the moment they've had Philadelphia's had a free kick in our own box, and I'm going to go back 10 seconds just so you can see. So they have a free kick. We'll play it. Okay, it gets cleared. There's a sort of scramble moment, right? We're getting out, so it's kind of chaotic. They launch the ball across. We'll play it for a second. Okay, so now, it was scramble. I don't have a lot of horrible things to say. We have 3 marked against their 3 in the back. So this here, right here, you need to go to the YouTube channel if you're going to watch this. But so here is Abram and here is Cobb. And so they're going to head it across. Cobb actually totally whiffs on this, right? And I'll play it and watch what happens. Who makes the play?
Oh yeah.
So
the play button kind of got in the way there, but
so what happens if we go back is that Cobb totally whiffs on it. Let's see if we can play it completely. And Sleaze reads it and runs right in behind him to make the play there.
Yeah.
He would have had an open from the penalty spot.
Yeah.
So Sleaze, if you go back on that, watch where Sleaze comes from. Look where he is now. He's right here.
Yeah.
Right. You don't think that Sleaze is going to make our last tackle back on that play.
Right.
Right. But he reads, in this case, Cobb missing the ball. And look at what he does. He runs by him and goes and makes the challenge.
That's impressive.
That is legit.
It's weird. Like watching him, it's almost like, when you talk about forwards and you can't teach certain things to forwards in terms of being there and being able to get where you need to be. He has the same thing. Like you can see it defensively with him. Like he just knows somehow where to be every single time.
He sees the danger.
Yeah.
Right. He absolutely sees the danger. In that case, how would anybody even know that? And to be honest with you, I don't think he's not like he knew that Cobb was going to come and whiff on the header. Right. But as Cobb is going up, he's looking at it and he's like, I think he's about to miss that. And Cobb almost runs right into him. He pushes Cobb aside, goes around him and makes the tackle.
Yeah.
I mean,
so do we want to check out the goals Atlanta finally scores or what else you got?
Sure. The goal that we score.
You want to go to the YouTube highlights for these or?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Which one? Oh, what do you want to do? Which one?
I don't know. What minute is it? You can go.
Yeah, you go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, take it away, Dave.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh. So it's like we get our first goal in the 55th minute, something like that?
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
There it is.
How'd you do that? That was impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
All right. So the key, I think, on this whole play, we're going to get the ball and we're going to switch it out to the right. And what I really like about this play, so first of all, again, those people who are saying Almada's doing nothing, Almada crosses the ball right onto Rios's head, which is why he scores. But what I really like about this is that Lennon has a chance to whip it across, and the guys weren't really ready for it. He noticed that, and he plays back to Almada. So watch it.
Yeah, I think
So we're on the left side. We're going to win the ball. And again, look at our pressure, right? Their pressure on that, because again, we have everybody marked up. We'll talk about it in a minute, right? So then we get the ball, and we're going to go out wide right.
Wiley's throwing it in.
Yeah.
And who's he throw to?
There's a beautiful
Almada makes a
switch
ridiculous transition.
to Saba, who plays wide to Lennon. And we try to get across in there, and it's cleared, right? But you're going to watch when we recycle the ball. We recycled it again. We go back out. There's Almada again in the middle. And actually, that's Sleaze. Sleaze plays it out to Lennon. Now watch him pass up the cross here.
That was Almada.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he gets it back, and Almada, boom, right on his head.
Ooh.
Yeah, Almada instrumental in that, from the throw in all the way to playing it to Lennon to back to him across. And yeah, it's Almada.
And I'll have to say,
Good.
we can do this, maybe if we go to technical board.
Yeah, tactical board.
One of the things I was really surprised about, Mikey Dobbs, is that Muyumba.
Yeah.
So Muyumba is an all-action guy, and I'm not really sure that this is the best thing. But in this game, they were, playing the dreaded double pivot. But to be honest with you, I don't really think they were playing. I mean, they're playing double pivot, but clearly they had been instructed this is a game against a really good team, and both of them were holding all the time. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's Philadelphia coming out of the back. We'll move, their players up to where, a normal play is. So like if we are all the way up some here trying to score, Rios is in there, right? Maybe Lennon has overlapped and Saba's in here. What you'll see is this. Sleaze is actually on the right, not on the left. And Muyumba were sitting absolutely parallel to one another right there all the time.
Yeah, and
they were
normally you would see Muyumba action up in the box.
Yeah, he was super disciplined in this game. He just kept sitting.
Did someone listen to the podcast?
I don't know, but I kept looking up and I was like, there is no way they can get out. Right. And to be honest with you, that's what I've been saying all the time, right? That if you can prevent them from getting the easy outlet ball, you can make it much more effective for those guys up front, because just recycle. And you just saw it just a minute ago when we saw that on the goal, right? That goal came on the third time that Philadelphia couldn't get the ball out of their own end. And every single time they looked up and had nothing.
Okay.
Right. And this is not, so Abram is pretty awful and off of his guy, and Kabwa is here. He was more aggressive, right? He was looking something like this. And Saba was, helping up in here. But anyway, what happened, it wasn't because they didn't have these guys open, right? Gazdag was open or whatever. But the problem is the ball, let's say, was, here or something. When he was looking up, he was looking. And actually, when they had the ball in the corner, it looked like this. That, which is unbelievably perfect. I mean, they had the two guys who were disciplined. Like, where are you going to go with this ball? You have only one option, which is to try to do something crazy in the back here, or just boom it long. That's the only thing they had. And it was consistent over and over and over. Philadelphia had nobody.
All right.
Okay.
Because these two guys were playing next to each other. They looked like they had a string attached to one another. They were parallel. And there were a couple moments as the game went on that Muyumba got involved here, but almost the entire game, no matter how deep it was, even when we were like, everybody in the box for a cross or something. So let's say Lennon was getting down here and everybody was in the box, right? We still had they were like halfway, Sleaze and Muyumba, halfway between the 18 and the penalty. the area, perfectly ready to defend. It was beautiful.
So
it was absolutely beautiful.
So what I'm hearing is Pineda had good tactics, or are we just thinking they did what they were
Somebody told me Muyumba to stay at home, and he did.
Yeah.
Now, what I would have said, maybe in these kind of games, sure. What I would have said is that should never happen. I would have said that should normally, in normal games, it should be all action Muyumba here, and Sleaze can still be here taking away the options. And if we have a big game like this, Muyumba can still do this because this should have happened. If we think we need that kind of discipline, these two guys should be the parallel.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I would have said that's the perfect formation, but not the right player. So instead of Muyumba, it should have been Dax McCarty as the actual two defensive midfielders.
Taking away your left forward in that case.
Yeah, you're just replacing another forward, and in this case, Almada becomes probably the left forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops. Where'd Almada go?
He's ahead of.
He's
Muyumba.
ahead of him.
He's like, there he is. So then it becomes our front three.
There you go.
All right.
So, but what I will say is, for who we had on the field, it was super disciplined from Muyumba, and it was super good from the two of them, and they could not. The number of times we won the midfield, and so that's what I was saying. So before you were saying to me that maybe we didn't deserve our 2-0 lead, I thought we did. Maybe not so much in terms of goal scoring opportunities, but in terms of domination, we had not only close to 60% possession, but it was good possession because we kept recycling the ball.
The first half, they had a higher percentage XG than we did.
Yeah, but
by significant amount.
And
even
that can happen.
It was a fraction, but
that can happen when you give up sort of fluke or whatever. But I thought we looked like we were dominating the game and we were good for our lead, even with a minus XG.
All right.
Sometimes when the minus XG is it's actually whatever, but
it wasn't a very convincing first half by Atlanta United. That's for sure.
It was a very cagey first half. So there was nobody who looked like they were going to score in the first half. But because we had it really, really well marked up and we kept recycling it around, they were really good in the back and they didn't give us chances. But because we had that, I was confident in the second half that Philadelphia was going to tire a little bit because they couldn't get out of the back.
Yeah.
Okay. And sure enough, they did. That's when we scored the 2 goals, right?
Yeah.
Now,
we
talked about it, right? So we scored those 2 goals, right? So the first goal was really good. Rios put it back where it came from. Brilliant. But let's go to the second goal, which is Wiley, which is a few minutes later. Here, want me to do it?
Hold on.
Yeah, and we'll bring this up here in a second, but obviously a great goal, a great take, the type of strike that the technique makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper because it hits the ground before it skips up and goes in. That's always tough for a goalkeeper. Yeah. And kudos to Wiley. He took the chance. Mm-hmm. Hell of a shot, a little bit lucky, goal. That's my take on it. Better to shoot it than not, but yeah, solid goal.
Yeah, somebody called it a screamer, so I was like, "Ooh, I need to see this one." I was like, not quite a screamer because it did take that bounce, but you're right, he took it.
Yeah,
he took the chance.
It wasn't a screamer. It was good technique to keep it down. Yeah. And those are some of the toughest balls for a goalkeeper to defend because it skips off the ground.
Here's my cynical eye. Okay, right. Carmen.
Cynical eye.
Yeah.
If this is Andre Blake, does he save this?
I don't even need to see it. Yes. Yeah.
Does Andre Blake get beat by that shot from it? Would have to be almost 30 something yards.
No, Andre Blake saves that.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying when we went out, I was texting you. I was like, Andre Blake is out. We're good for a goal. Now here's what I've been saying.
Probably saves it. I mean, look, I think a lot of things went right for Wiley on that shot.
Yeah, it was an awkward bounce. So I think everything you said was true.
If for any goalkeeper, that's a really difficult save because of the way that it bounced off the turf. So even Andre Blake may have missed that. I know you. I know you praise him. But I think he still misses it.
No.
especially injured like he was.
Okay,
look at
injured
the
maybe.
reverse, because they're going to show in the last, I think, version of this. They show the
He
reverse
did
angle
no,
right here,
no.
right here. Look at where he's not quite over. He's standing in the middle of the goal.
And he's flat. He like
Yeah,
dips
you're
into
right.
Andre
it.
Blake
You're
would have
right.
moved
Yeah.
over there, and he makes that save.
You're
Andre
right.
Blake makes that.
That guy was flat-footed.
He was flat-footed. He like he should have been on his toes, but instead he went down and was waiting.
He was
And he wasn't quite over. The play had shifted over. He needed to be one step over.
So okay, now at this point we're 2-0 up. What did you think of Brad Guzan's?
I want to
performance
say
in this
one
game?
more thing about this, actually. So for all those people who think Jim Curtin, MLS God, and he's done really well at Philadelphia with a lot of teams, I actually think Andre Blake has been consistently making him look like a better coach. He is that good. And I think if you take away Andre Blake, Jim Curtin is a mediocre coach. That's my hot take.
Ooh, hot take.
I am not impressed with Jim Curtin.
Well,
I actually had that thought because I know you weren't before, but I was like, he's not exciting. I don't know. I know that's not the biggest deal, but he's just I don't know. And it was interesting when we did the podcast in Philadelphia. The guy who does the local Philadelphia
yep.
podcast was saying it was more of the
System.
that was installed
Love
by
the
the
system.
GM that actually set Curtin or really any coach up for success there. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah. So anyway, goalkeeping, Brad Guzan. I know we had a preference of having Cohen start and lose the job versus having some sort of extreme thing happen with Guzan to lose the job himself and then give Cohen a win to win, which we don't think will happen until Brad Guzan lays an egg. Not going to happen the way he's playing, right? I mean, has there been an egg? No. But what is your thoughts?
Well, let's go to the goal we conceded, and then you can say we go through.
Okay, I can
Brad Guzan fault or not?
I can give you my opinion on both, and neither one of them are Brad Guzan's fault.
Okay,
First
so let's
off,
show the clip first.
The first one is all class. The guy near posts it. Nobody's saving that. Your Blake dude's not saving that. Nobody's saving that. That was pure class. The upper 90 on the near post there. So whatever you're gonna say.
Oh no, I'm not talking. Well, so okay, so
I want to see what you got to say on this. That's Brad Guzan's fault, or even a younger Brad Guzan saves that. Not sure.
Well, my opinion.
All right,
we'll get to, but
doesn't
it look right? 70
something. I thought it was 77.
73rd. No, it's
73rd. But so yeah, and I'd also like to see whether it was Mascara or whomever that has the internet died on us.
It looked like it got stuck.
Yeah, maybe it's Apple.
No, we're good. We're good. We're still going.
Whew.
It's only going 10
Come
seconds
on.
at a time. I know it's right here.
And
there it is.
Yeah,
that was it. Back. So a moment of silence.
I would say, y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Right,
Are you there? You're there? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
So this is actually the place to stop it, right? So Mascara, as you pointed out, so Wiley has this crazy thing on the touchline. They save it. Mascara actually launches it back pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So who should go for this ball? I mean, it was clearly a ball designed to go back to Brad Guzan.
I mean,
hold on. If we're going to be fair, I want to see it played back then before I make the judgment on the still frame.
What do you mean played back?
10 seconds, go back.
All right.
Okay. So now play it. All right. So Wiley comes up here and challenges on the sideline. Somehow it stays in bounds. Mascara plays it. And yeah, I don't know. That's a 50-50 ball. Okay. So if Brad Guzan comes out on this, Brad is what? 40 years old.
Yes.
Brad is calculating, am I going to win? So to be fair to Brad, is he going to win? That ball is right in between them. Do you think the athletic 23-year-old is going to get there first or Brad Guzan? I know who's going to get there first. So Brad stays put as he rightfully should to give himself some chance.
And I agree. I actually think Brad makes the right call here. He stayed at home. I was thinking when I saw it live, I'm like, oh, Brad should have come for that. When I look at the replay, I'm like, no, That was just an awful ball.
It's an awful ball.
But
man.
now look.
Put everybody in an awkward position.
So the other thing about this, and this is where we're talking about. So Noah Cobb,
But he had to gauge it, so he's out, right?
yeah. And the moment he starts coming for it, look what Noah Cobb does. Oh, let's go back.
He was slow on his horse. That's for
You'll
sure.
see. Look when the ball is first played and Guzan goes for it. Watch Noah Cobb. Okay, watch Noah Cobb right here. Watch what he does.
A little bit of ball
Nothing.
watching.
Nothing. And now he goes, right?
Oh, yeah.
See that? See the hesitation? And so now I'm not blaming Noah Cobb there either because
Yeah.
that was a ball that was intended back to
Right.
Brad Guzan. It wasn't him, but he also was a little switched off.
He switched off, but rightfully so, because you're like, oh, you're playing
Like
it back
the
to
keeper.
you're not playing
Whose
it
fault is that? Mascara. That
Mascara.
was an awful ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
100%.
And then as I agree with you, that he could do nothing about this. There's no problem on that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a heck of a finish.
Yeah, great.
Mhm.
So, yeah. All right.
Okay.
We ended up agreeing after all that, Dave. That was a long story to be told. You could have just said, I agree with you, Mike.
I don't
That's
like
no
this.
fun.
I was trying to set you up to be like, oh, he doesn't agree with me. All
Oh,
right.
I'm glad you made me analyze the whether Brad should have gone for it or not. So, all right. So, this is the throw in, the infamous throw in where you tweeted that
All right.
it was a foot violation.
76 minute. Now, first of all, I want to say is after you give up the 2-1 goal, I'm going to go back to it again. How is Dax McCarty not in the game? And again, you might say, does Dax McCarty make this play? I don't know. We're going to get to it in a second because we have the this is a long throw in and we have the shambolic zonal marking. But I honestly think maybe having a third Dax McCarty reads danger. It wouldn't surprise me if Dax McCarty actually would have ended up. You never know. It was a total speculation, but so he should have been in the game. Now, long throw, absolutely a long throw. Now you can tell.
Well, no, I was shocked that you were so critical of had this been a foot violation of the player.
Yep.
Let's just say theoretically his foot did go over the line and it was a fault throw.
Yep.
And a linesman doesn't get that right. They should be suspended.
Yes.
I think that's a little harsh personally
No.
because I think there's so much wrong with the refereeing in games that referees would get suspended every 20 seconds.
Well, yeah.
If something more important than the foot violation were to be enacted for a suspension, then refs would get suspended every game in the MLS for things that are way more egregious than this.
Okay, now first of all, I think maybe suspension is not the right word, but I think that referees who make blatant mistakes should have accountability and they should have to take a game off, right? Now, whether you call it a suspension or whatever, I'm not saying he should be suspended for months or whatever. In this case, it's a long throw-in.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody knows it's a long throw-in. And when it's a long throw-in, one of the jobs of the linesman is to make sure they don't egregiously cheat and come in the field, which they do all the time. And so you have to be looking at it. And she was, right? The lineswoman was. And I thought that he stepped blatantly over the line until I actually looked at the rule book. Mikey Dowds. So the rule book, I always thought that you had to be behind the line.
My entire life, Dave. I've always thought that my foot had to be outside the line when I threw the ball in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
I played soccer for
Every coach
45 years. 45 years.
Yeah.
Evidently, the rule that you can have even your heel touching any part of the chalk is legal.
Yeah.
So
I did
even
not
if
know
it's
that
the inside, which to Dave's point makes no logical sense because every other part of the rule on when the ball is out of bounds, right?
Right.
Yeah. So here's what Mikey Dowds is saying is that so when the ball is on the line, it's in. It has to completely cross the line for a goal. It has to completely cross the line for out of bounds. So the line is in.
Yes.
So if the line is in field, then stepping on the line should be stepping on the field and you're touching the ball, handball.
Right. 1,000%, which is why I always thought the rule is what it is not.
But it's not.
So
I didn't know this
the
either.
fact that you brought this up as a big deal is awesome because I love to be educated on stuff like this. And I've been wrong my entire life on where your foot needs to be or where
you know who knows that you can do this? Two people. One and two. The lineswoman knew the rule. The guy throwing the ball knew the rule. It's only we didn't know the rule.
But secondly,
I mean,
The reason
I'll
I'm
stop it right where
e-
you
e-
can see.
even if, let's just say, his heel was a centimeter across the line, I don't really like, as a player, like if it got missed, like this is not the biggest deal in the world to me. We should be defending this better. It's not consequential to the outcome of the game in a significant way like other mistakes are in soccer. It is so far down the list of things that impact a game that you're saying that like 1 inch on a throw in is the biggest difference in the world. I 100% agree. The rules are the rules. They should be enforced and people should be accountable for it. I'm just saying, as a player, like if you're like, oh, the foot foul, that's why Dax McCarty missed the header.
No.
No, he wasn't on the
But
field.
here's
That's the
thing.
problem.
This is where
Dax McCarty wasn't on the field, Dave.
I know, but here's where I completely disagree with you, because so many calls, the reason why referees can't be held accountable is because so many
Oh,
calls.
sorry. He's about to heat up. I
He's
got
heating
I
up.
jumped
I'm
the
heating
button.
up.
Sorry.
Yeah, he already did, so it's
Sorry,
fine. You
sorry.
can hit the button again. So the reason why referees can't be held accountable is there's so much subjectivity to so many calls. But in the case where there is a goal that's decided on a long throw and you cheat by going over the line, it's black and white. If you're over the line, that is a foul. That should be called back. The referee should blow that. You're always for the line is the line, right? And I was always like, no, the spirit of the game. And that's where I disagree with you on the offsides, and I agree with you here. That's over the line if it is, which is not.
Yeah.
But if it was over the line, that is a foul, and it has to be called back.
100% agree. Go ahead and implement technology that can show that within 1 second.
But you're saying you don't care that much.
I don't care that much.
You should care.
In
That's a
ter-
rule.
Oh my God. Okay. So
Uh-oh. Here we go.
let me get my words correct here. Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
I care about the laws of the game being enforced. Okay. As a fan or a player, in the scenario of something getting missed, out of all the things that get missed in a soccer game,
Yep.
this is way down my care list
I agree.
because I don't think it
Okay.
impacts the outcome of the game in any significant way. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the laws of the game should be enforced, especially when you have competent referees and competent technology that can make it happen. I'm with you. I will preach that till I die, that should happen.
the line is
Especially
the line.
a line's a line. It's in or out.
Okay.
Simple.
Foul.
All
On
right.
or offsides, goal is in or out. These are things that technology can solve. So instead of relying on this woman who's the linesman to judge what a centimeter is, which is very difficult for a human, by the way.
Well, she's looking right at it. She got
Yeah.
it right on. She's literally looking at it. That's why I was so pissed. I'm
A
like,
little
she's
bit-
looking at it. How would she not make the call? Because it was so egregious. Except for it wasn't so egregious because it wasn't even a foul.
And-
And she had it right.
She did, okay?
She
And
did.
she was lucky, too, as a human, because a
She
human
nailed it.
a human yeah, she nailed it. So she got it, this was the heel
Yep.
literally on the most inner edge of the line. What if it was a little bit more, right? What if it was right on the little edge of the chalk, Dave? Like, at what point do you distill technology to make that millimeter difference? Okay. It can be solved. It can be a virtual line there that is created by technology
Mhm.
and figures out whether that millimeter is crossed or not.
And if VAR can check something in the buildup, VAR can check that. I know they're not allowed to now, but they should be able
VAR.
to.
Stop it with the VAR stuff.
I would call
VAR
that.
can mess up soccer for infinity. Stop bringing the camera into the equation. The camera is the wrong.
If you're taking a
technology.
throw in, a
What?
long throw in, you
Why?
can't get an advantage like that. That's illegal.
Hey.
So you can't.
Foul.
So Mikey Dobbs, you're saying you do not bring VAR in to check to see if his foot
I
is
think
over
it
the
can
line.
be done with other technologies other than cameras. Personally,
Oh, I see.
Wait,
If
what
you
do you
want to do it automatically or something.
yeah, like I think that, like, I mean, there can
But
be.
okay, but
ver-
now
like-
we can only do it on VAR. Would you have VAR review that? I
uh,
would.
No, I just don't.
You don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, and I do. That's a rule.
So it's not
It's like-
reviewable.
It's
Not reviewable.
Not
It's a dead ball situation.
okay. So
not in the
I
build-up.
I will sacrifice the pain of sitting around for 2 minutes waiting for VAR to decide whether the game should continue versus something that nominally impacts the game. Because as a player, Dave, do you give a shit? Honestly, I mean, I care whether he like does like a half throw. Like, yeah, at least bring it behind your head. Have 2 feet on the ground, but let's play some damn ball. Like, let's get on with it.
I actually
I'm
completely
sorry, but
disagree with you.
I'm like, great. If you can implement technology that doesn't make me suffer as a player or a fan, then fine, enforce the rule. But if not, I don't want to wait around all day to find out whether something that's insignificant matters or not. Sorry.
And I completely disagree with you.
Well,
That
you're
pisses the
wrong.
hell out of me
You're
because
wrong.
wait, hold on. That pisses the hell out of me because you have a long throw in. You know that. That guy knows that. Why he can't stand behind the line and observe the laws of the game? Why he feels like he has to cheat 1 inch to get that advantage is ridiculous.
If the system can actually implement things that hi, we're waking up the kids. Thank you.
I love this so
All
much.
right.
I'm sorry. We're sorry.
We're waking up the
Leah.
kids.
We're so
Wait,
sorry.
we got yelled at for the first time on the podcast. That's kind of awesome.
That's history.
Did we wake up the kids? Awesome.
I can't hear the TV.
Okay. See you later.
More importantly, guys.
All right. So, but it bothers me because what I would say is like, it's like if the referee draws the line on the free kick and the guy rolls it up an inch, like who's going to be that jerk? Like, don't do it. Like, stop. Or like the people who like cheat in, who are like
implement
off
a
the 10
system
yards.
that can enforce the rule then.
Yeah, it's
I
called
can't.
VAR.
No, it's called other technology.
No.
I mean, like, sure, if you have to involve cameras, but don't belabor it. Don't belabor a throw in. Like, there's enough things that slow this game down.
If you have a long throw in and you can't stay legal, then you got a problem. That's your fault. Your fault.
I understand that. But Dave, as a player, you've always said, like, the referee's job is to keep the game fair.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Except
Would-
for when people
hold
have
on,
no
like-
morals and are horrible
Yeah.
and are cheating for no reason.
Yeah.
What bothers me is
But
he's
I'm just
cheating
saying-
for no reason.
the player, yeah. He was able to keep his
All he's doing is flouting the rules for no reason, and that really bothers me.
who's this?
The thrower.
The thrower. Yeah, he's
Can't
just
stay behind the
he's-
freaking line. What are you getting an inch advantage? It's not an advantage.
no, but this guy is actually within the rules. So he
Got it
perfect.
perfectly.
Right.
But why? If I was the coach, I would be like, are you kidding me? Why are you even coming close to that? Why would you jeopardize our getting a goal because you want that inch? What is that doing for us? Nothing. You're an idiot.
Oh, now we've got to the real source.
It bothers me.
It bothers him that the
it's-
player is pushing
Yeah.
the edge
Yeah.
of
I,
the
For
throw.
no reason.
I'm like not even mad at that, quite frankly. I get it. I get that. But let me say, if I were still playing soccer, I too, every single time I'm throwing the ball in, I'm putting my heel on the line.
Yeah,
if I were still playing.
So press the advantage or whatever.
Hold on. I'm not done with this yet. Not done with this yet, Dave.
Oh.
I love this so much.
Do you, like as a player, when you and I played together,
Yep.
had somebody taken a long throw in at us, and their foot was an inch over the line, are you going to feel like you were done wrong? Like literally, like at the end of the
No,
game.
did that give
and
him an
then
advantage? No, but would I be
Didn't-
ballistic? Yes.
Didn't give him an advantage.
No, it didn't give him an advantage.
Yeah. So okay, let's move on.
One time,
Thank you.
probably the
Thank
angriest
you.
I've ever
Didn't
been.
give anybody an advantage. Let's move on.
Probably the angriest I've ever been in a soccer game. I had a free kick and I wanted to take it quickly, right? And the player was back 10 yards and knew that I wanted to take it quickly
Mhm.
and came running in to like 3 yards to whatever block it. Not that they were there and failed to back up, but they came running in. I was like, I took the free kick anyway, kicked it right into him. And the referee let the game go on and they went down and score. And I went absolutely nuts. I'm like, how do you let the guy just whatever? And he's like, you took the kick. I'm like, because he was 2 yards away and he infringed on the whole thing. Like
So my
what-
last red card at Silverbacks,
yeah,
same situation.
yeah.
Okay. So
it
this-
drove me nuts.
so
Oh,
that
that's
I
right,
Like,
lost.
stop cheating.
I lost my mind, Dave. Like worse than you've ever
Oh
seen.
gosh, I wish I could have been there. to
Oh,
see
it was something. This referee heard it from me. So he said. So I put the ball down. He said, "Do you want me to mark it off?" And because they were doing the stepping thing, they were like 1 foot in front of the ball,
that. Right.
which is
Yep.
not reasonable of the 5 yards or whatever it is at the 77.
hmm
And so I said, no, I don't want the space. So they end up backing up like close to but they were still infringing, right? So I said down. I didn't ask for the 5 yards.
Yep.
I wind up to take it, By the time I was shooting the ball, he was about 6 inches
Yeah, that's what happened with me.
from me. Like literally could have
Exactly.
broken my leg as I'm shooting the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's what happened
Like,
with me.
and
I
it
lost it.
went off.
Yeah.
It went off, and I lost my. He was like, "You didn't ask for that," and I was like, "It doesn't matter whether I asked for 10 yards.
Yeah.
Do your job.
I
Do
agree.
your job."
I agree.
So okay, all right, we have gone off.
So that's the same principle here. You're cheating.
rabbit hole.
Like, stop
You knew it was going to be a good podcast, Carmen.
Stop cheating.
Sorry, I'm wind up at this point.
All right.
Oh goodness, are we going back to see the video here?
Yeah, go
All
back to
right,
the video.
we're
I'm gonna
on.
go to the 88th minute. There was
Wait. Did they score from the throw in or not?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. I don't
Okay,
know
just
why.
wanted to check. Just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, so we actually can talk about it. So everybody's gonna blame on that. They're gonna blame Mascara again because it was Mascara who. Oh,
What happened? You had it right on the foot mark there. It was all happening, and Dave, see, this is what happens when you give Dave the wheel.
I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy stuff.
so here's the reverse angle. So what happens is this is the dreaded zonal marking, right? And this is actually an interesting reverse angle to see it from because this is what we've talked about all the time. So a lot of times on the zonal marking, you win the first ball. Like in this case, because we have zonal marking, we have 2v1 and we are going to win the ball. But the moment you don't clear it on that first ball, nobody's responsible for anybody. And you can see nobody is responsible for this guy, right? Who happens to be Kai Wagner, who's one of their leading scorers, even as a back. And watch what happens.
Just side foots it.
So
right in the
everybody
sideline.
is going to blame Mascara for getting there late. But if he's actually responsible for him, he should be close to him, right?
Yeah.
If you go back on this clip to when he's throwing the ball, they'll show it
This man mark him. Put some elbow grease on him.
here.
We've talked about it many times in the podcast. It's a problem with zonal marking. You don't make people change their movement, and so you end up letting this guy just easily line up a
Right.
side footer because he's got no elbow grease on
Yeah.
him.
So here it is, right? You can see that it's zonal marking because he's here, right? And he lets the guy, wide open. And
So there it is, 2-2 draw at home.
Okay,
3
so
points
now-
that we needed.
I'm gonna go to a couple of modes. So there was one, and I love the fact that we can watch. I love we don't have to be in the highlights.
We're beyond highlights.
Beyond the highlights. I think this is where it's here where Muyamba gets the ball here, and he comes in, and what is he doing right here? What did he do there? Why? So Muyamba does really, really well there. We'll go
I
back.
think he was trying to wait a second for the space,
Yeah.
and instead the guy came and put in a good tackle.
I think what he was trying to do is I think he was trying to get cute and chip.
I
So
think,
he hesitated a second, and I think he was going to try to chip,
yeah, he was trying to chip
Ah.
far. He was trying to go back far post,
and he should have just
Drilled
hit
it.
it.
should have just drilled it near post.
Yeah, he
or
got a little too
made,
cute.
made the keeper make a save.
Here's you can see
Yeah,
the better angle.
better
So
angle.
Miyama does really well to get into the spot, and I think he tries to chip.
Yeah, the guy's right in front
maybe
of
it
him.
was him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And then I want to show you one more thing.
One more thing.
In the 93rd minute, when you were talking about this, Sleaze, I just want to show you with him coming forward on the ball, right? He does an absolutely brilliant job. So they're going to go here.
Schleese.
I need to sleece the jersey.
Here. So here, this is Sleaze running with the ball, and you were talking about, Almada, and
Mhm.
what Sleaze does, and I'm going to back it up just 1 second so we can see it right where he gets the ball. Right, so he gets the ball. We're playing out of our own back, and he gets the ball there, right? So, I mean, he's halfway in our own halfway between the 18 and the midfield, right? And so many players as a defensive midfielder would just be like, pump it up, pump it up, pump it up.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out earlier, Sleaze is so. Watch what he does.
Yeah,
Look
sometimes I'm like, is that Amada or Schleese?
how composed is he on this? He dribbles, and he dribbles. And he dribbles, and he dribbles, and he dribbles, and then he doesn't try to do something fancy. He just finds the open guy,
Yeah, and then
right?
back
And
for it.
all that does is allow Almada to
Ooh.
get there.
Yeah.
right? That chance was created completely by the composure of Sleaze, right? I can't even say it enough. It was a masterclass.
Yeah. Love me some Sleaze.
All right.
Right.
I like it.
So I want to say one more thing.
I thought
So-
that was one more thing.
Oh, well. So Philadelphia has a reputation for being not the best attitude. Do you know how many yellow cards they ended up in the game?
Don't recall too many, but I don't know. That's a great question. I'm gonna go with 3 yellow cards.
Carmen, you want to guess?
Having not seen the game, you said 3.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over.
Yeah, over. So they had 5 official,
Okay.
which is a lot. 5 yellow cards. And after the end of the game, so the referee stopped the game when Philadelphia was in the attacking third. I don't think he should have stopped the game there. People were like, "Oh my God, they had a great, chance." I'm not really sure it was the great chance.
No,
Whatever.
it was not, and he had already committed to blowing the whistle
Yeah.
before that great play was ever transpiring.
Yes.
So he had committed to the whistle.
So the Philadelphia lost their mind and surrounded the referees. And how MLS is not taking a discipline action for that, because they literally surrounded him for minutes after the end whistle.
Yeah.
And Curtin came in and started yelling at him.
What?
And I believe, which is not in the actual stat book, I believe that he yellow carded Curtin in that moment too, because he brandished a yellow card like 3 or 4 minutes after the game was over. Somebody got a yellow card. I have to assume that was Curtin. I don't know for sure, because otherwise it should have shown up as one of the players. But anyway, I believe it was Curtin.
So versus worrying about the throw-in rule, I would rather they sort out stuff that's very sortable, which is that happens so many times in EPL games or wherever there's controversy over when the refs end the game. Can't they implement something to where it's very clear that it has to be when the ball is at some portion of the field or across a line, and then the game can end? Like, I mean, this isn't hard to solve. Like, there can be a very clear moment where it's not a breakaway or the team got a corner kick. Like, you can't end it on a corner kick. Like, it goes across the line and the other team got the offense has got a corner kick and the ref decides, nope, whoop, I'm not going to let you take the corner kick, end the game. Like, there has to be some very clear cut things that the rules of the game can easily solve. Rather that than worry about the throw in rule.
You could correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I actually think it's even worse than that. I think technically the game can't end unless it's in play. You often see this where there's like a goal kick or something. They'll wait till the person kicks the ball and then blow it. And
Huh.
it's really weird. I'm like, why didn't you just blow it?
Right.
Huh.
And so I have always assumed that there is some kind of rule that actually has to be in play. Because actually a better rule would be like, maybe it can't end when it's in play. It has to be a dead ball. Then you could keep going and going and going. But
Is that a FIFA? I feel like I
know,
watched a
maybe you
game
can
like
look it
this
up.
weekend that ended on
I
a
don't know.
throw in. Like
it's
right before
something
you
that we
sit
need
in.
to check.
Like, look, if you're on the other team's offensive side and you play the ball back twice, the ref can blow the whistle dead.
Mhm.
Simple.
I also think times when, it's past the time and it's an attacking moment, like a corner kick or whatever, and they take forever to take it. I'm like, you don't, just because you think that the referee shouldn't blow it on the end the game on that doesn't mean you get to take forever. If I were a referee, sometimes I would
No,
be like,
don't do that. Because it's, again, it's subjective of what's too long to take a corner kick. You either allow them to take a kick or not. It should be within the laws of the game and solve it that way, Dave, versus
Yeah,
making it
fair.
subjective.
Fair. Okay, so now next weekend, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Home. Prediction.
I have this one chalked up as a loss.
Cincinnati at home, you say. I am going. Do we know anything about Gigi?
They actually reported that he should be back.
Should be back.
Yeah, so I think you have to assume that he's going to be back.
Yeah,
that's what the reports are.
Ooh, I'm gonna go hopeful draw.
And I'm going to go win.
Ooh,
I really think that we are still Formula Plus, because if you look at our midfield in this game, we dominated the midfield for the first time under Pineda against Philadelphia ever. I mean, the Sleaze Muyumbo combination is working. And when we do that, if you have Gigi as a fulcrum on it, then we win.
So I certainly think we have a chance if we have Almada, Gigi, and Schließ in the game.
Yep.
Gregerson is on the cusp of coming back too, right?
Close, but I wouldn't expect him back yet.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably best case scenario the three that I just mentioned.
Mhm.
Silva, Saba are healthy, right?
Yep.
Lennon.
I don't know about
Highly.
Silva.
Oh,
He
so
has a slight injury.
he's
too.
the one. Was he a part of the 4-week thing?
I don't know how long
Was-
he's out
was
for.
Will-
but
I think
he's
so.
out.
Well,
I think,
yeah. So
yeah.
he's out. Yeah,
Yep.
he's out.
Yeah.
Because it's only been 2 weeks. So, but that's okay. I mean, we'll see probably Wolf again.
I'd like to see Mascara instead of Wolf.
Yeah, I don't dislike that, given the way that Wolf has played.
Yeah, Wolf was awful.
Reward Mascara for his improvement. Yeah,
Now he won't
against it.
because he'll look only at the two mistakes and he'll say Mascara gave away the ball and then Mascara was the guy at the top of the box who didn't close him down fast enough. So I'm going to say there's no chance Mascara starts.
which I don't hate either, because like I said, Wolf's a better defender, even though he had a shambolic game.
Yeah, but you can't be picking your front three based
I can
on who's the better defender.
during the full 90 minutes.
No, I
Because I don't know.
disagree.
I've yet to see Mascara perform where he puts people on their heels through a full 90 minutes. He's deadly when somebody's worked his player for 70 minutes and he comes on, he smokes them. And you've said this much.
But you've seen Tyler Wolf for every time he starts, he's terrible.
He's terrible in terms of lately, the last 4 or 5 games, finishing way off.
Mhm.
Little touches are off. Movement is off. Defending, pretty good. A lot of hustle, a lot of defending. So if you're going to have, and I know that's not what you want out of your left forward, but for 90 minutes,
No.
if you don't have somebody who can be an all-round player, and Mascara is not, for the reasons you just mentioned, I'm not sure he's a starter either.
At home, no way. Go after him. Let's go. At home, let's take it to him. Maybe on the road,
Against
but
Cincinnati.
at home, yeah.
So when you say take it to him, you're saying start to.
You don't pick one of your front three based on who's the better defender at home.
Got
You
it.
pick the guy who's better attacking right now.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm a little torn. I mean, look, I'm not totally against Mascara starting either, but especially the way Wolf's played. But yeah, who else do we have? Any? Obviously not Derek Etienne. Whew.
Is he still with us?
Yeah.
He played a few minutes in the
Ah,
last game.
Okay.
So
And he missed an absolute sitter. He headed it backwards.
Hmm.
He skimmed it off his head. He spun it off his
So
head
I had
backwards.
forgotten about
so
him.
what are we? We're like 7th place in the East.
Sixth.
6th.
So we have a game in hand.
We have a
against
game
those
or
teams.
2 in hand, depending on who we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Miami, we have 2, so maybe you could pull
Yeah.
up the table.
Yeah, given where we are, if we get 3 points this weekend, that should move us up pretty well.
Mm-hmm. So we have 7 games played. Philadelphia also has 7, but Cincinnati, Columbus, and Red Bulls all have 8, and Miami has 9. So if we win the game in hand, we would have 14, which would have moved us basically into 3rd.
Yeah.
So we're certainly not off the pace.
Yeah, but we're off the pace.
That's the thing. We got to go get all these points right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after this last weekend, we're off the pace.
I have to say, so that the little things matter. And I think if he makes the move to Dax McCarty when we have either the 2-0 lead or 2-1 lead, I bet we hold on.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, a great coach gets you results when it's not
Yeah.
absolutely the best. And,
Oh. So I wanted to get your opinion on Guzan.
yeah.
Because like I said, until he has a blunderer that's clear, Pineda's not going to make a change. So, but overall, what do you think of his performance? I mean, it's not awful.
It
but
hasn't
it's-
been awful. He hasn't made, big mistakes, but I do think that we've already documented, which people are discounting, the once or twice where I thought he probably a better keeper gets to it. Now, what we don't know, and to be fair, we don't know, is Cohen that better goalkeeper? I don't know.
And I mean, to be fair to Brad, and this is why I'm bringing it up, he's also had some nice saves in some of these games too.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cohen's making either.
Yep. So last year we said that, Guzan didn't make any mistakes last year either, but his save percentage was the lowest in the league for chances or whatever. That has changed. Like this year he started out well. I think maybe last year was a little harsh on the numbers. I think this year is a little flattering on
Yeah.
the numbers. I'm not, that's I know computer is trying to decide whether, they should have made this
So kind of a blanket statement here, but there's
Yeah.
29 teams in the MLS right now.
Yep.
Out of those 29 starting goalkeepers, how many of them do you think that you would start over Brad Guzan? Just like
At least half.
At least half.
I think he's in the bottom half. I mean, I thought last year that he was maybe even bottom
me-
5 because I
Yeah.
really thought he cost us a bunch of goals.
Yeah.
But I actually think this year he's looked a little better. Like
Yeah.
maybe his Achilles is better.
Yeah, he seems a little sharper this year. Seems like definitely the old man strength is kicking
But
in.
I'd still probably take almost half the
Okay.
goalkeepers over him.
But at 40,
Oh yeah, I mean,
know.
he's a absolute.
Yeah.
In his prime, he's one of the best MLS goalkeepers ever.
Yeah.
He's a terrific goalkeeper. Don't confuse me for thinking I'm a Brad.
yeah, we
Guzan
love
hater.
Brad, we love Brad
Oh,
Guzan.
yeah.
Just questioning when the time's right.
Right. I do feel like this year he's kind of realized he's 40. Like I feel like last year
Yeah,
he
that's a
didn't
good
his
point.
mind was still like I'm in my prime, so I'm making bad decisions. But this year he's
Right,
like
which
I'm
is the-
40.
Which
and
is
I can,
last year he would have come out for that
He
ball and,
would've
like,
yeah.
and wrecked that guy.
Exactly.
That's a
Yeah.
really, really, really good point.
Yeah.
Carmen nailing it.
I mean,
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, he's kind of like he knows his fat dad bod is there.
Exactly. We should understand that as like our 40-year-old selves. It's that year where you're like, you know what? I'm not going up for that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm 40 something. I got kids and a mortgage and I got to get to work tomorrow.
Is there any other soccer stuff? We talk about it all.
I think we talked about it all.
Well, if you're still listening, we are going to be at Wild Heaven Brewery April 27th, Saturday at noon. Please come join us. Come heckle us. Come join the
Yes.
podcast.
Yes, and I will buy you a beer if you come up to me and tell me who was the guest on the 4th episode of
Aha.
ATL on Fire.
There we go.
All
Thanks for
right,
listening,
guys.
everybody.
Just like back in Guadalajara. You say it, I do it, coach.
I do it, coach.
Football is life.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great evening.
Hey,